Hi, my name is Eric Milard, and I'm the trumpet professor at UNC Charlotte. I want to talk to you about this year's NCMEA All-State Etude for grades 11 and 12 on trumpet, which is Morceau De Concours. One of the first things you'll notice about this section is that it's marked Allegro Energico. Now, it should be relatively fast. However, energy can come from a lot of different places that aren't just tempo. You can create it with articulation, note shapes, style, and phrasing. So don't feel like you just have to play this really quickly to impress the judges, but make sure you're creating the right style and musical character. As you think about the tempo you want to take for this piece, look through the entire solo before coming to that decision. As you'll see later in the piece, there are eighth notes with dashes across the stems, and that means to play 2 16th notes per eighth note. So if you have trouble double tonguing or aren't quite there yet, maybe go a little bit slower and focus on trying to play cleanly while you're single tonguing. Also, there are a number of long triplet lines throughout the entire solo. So if you feel like your tongue's a little bit sluggish or heavy, perhaps going a little bit slower and focusing on playing clean is going to be more beneficial than trying to play as fast as possible and perhaps being a bit sloppy or out of control. While this solo is very technical, it's also important to focus on the musical line. A lot of times when we see technical solos, we only think about trying to execute the technique, getting the right notes and rhythms and trying to be clean. However, if we lose the musical direction and phrasing throughout, then it becomes kind of uninteresting to listen to. So be sure at all times there's some sort of motion in your phrasing. For instance, a lot of these long triplet lines all tend to lead forward, I think. And if you know where your destinations are and your arrival points are in the phrases throughout the piece, you're going to create a really effective energy and motion throughout the entire thing that will make a really great musical product. One challenge of this piece is the rhythm. For instance, we have a lot of dotted 8/16ths and triplet subdivisions. So be sure that you distinguish the two very clearly. Make sure that you're subdividing 16th notes when you have the dotted 8/16th figures, and that you're subdividing triplets when you have the triplet figures. And be sure you can transition between the two subdivisions with ease and clarity. When you get to the Cantabile section in the middle, be sure that you really focus on playing long, fluid, and smooth lines, overdoing your dynamic contrast and phrasing, and really trying to play with as beautiful of tone as possible. This is our one instance in the piece where we can really showcase our musicality and our tone and make that at the forefront of our playing. Also notice in this Cantabile section, there's no tempo indication that suggests we should slow down. So be sure that the tempo is still moving forward and don't get lulled into the trap of thinking just because we have half notes and quarter note rhythms throughout most of that it should slow down or drag. In the last section of this piece, there's only one dynamic marking throughout the entire section, and that's Fortissimo at the beginning of that. However, Don't view this as an invitation to just play loud and proud the entire time, but be sure you still have great musical sensitivity. There should be direction and energy and motion in all of your phrasing, and there should also be some times where the phrase relaxes a little bit. So if you're just playing loud and full the entire time, it'll kind of get old, and by the time we get to the end where we really need to be the fullest and very strong, it won't be particularly effective. So be sure you find all of the moments, not in just this end section, but throughout the entire piece, where the phrase peaks and also kind of comes back as well to make really effective phrases. I find with students, oftentimes when we see more technical or faster rhythms, as we articulate those, the notes tend to get shorter and shorter rather than having good shape. So be careful as you're articulating not to be pecky or overly short with all of these notes, but to try and connect everything with the airstream and play smooth, continuous phrases. I hope all of this helps, and I wish you the best of luck in the audition and preparation process. But know that your luck is going to be greatly influenced by the quality and the quantity of work that you put into your practice and preparation on these pieces.